Hey friends, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Diane, and today we're just going to get right into it. We are doing breakfast for the week, and I've already started. I've got my bacon already prepped and my sausage. We're going to be doing sausage biscuits with eggs, and we're going to have the bacon for today. We're also going to be doing waffles, and we're going to get all of this prepared for the week, so we'll have breakfast for the week. And I'm just going to pop these into the oven and let them cook. And then we're going to get started on making our homemade biscuits from scratch. Very, very easy to do. Anybody can do them. So for our biscuits, we're going to start out with 3 cups of flour. And this is all-purpose flour. This is a teaspoon of salt we're going to add in here, and a tablespoon of sugar, and a tablespoon of baking powder. So when you're using all-purpose flour, you have to have these ingredients in order for your biscuits to rise. Normally you would sift the flour, but ain't nobody got time for that. I found out that this works just as well if you mix it all together. Like this, it works fine, and plus you don't have to worry about the extra dishes. Alright, so you got all of that incorporated together. This is just a really quick recipe. Then we got 6 pats of butter, 6 tablespoons of butter, and what we want to do is we just want to incorporate that into the flour. So we're using this motion to cut it into the flour. We're cutting the butter into the flour. So this is what you want it to look like. And you want to get it all incorporated in there. Make sure you got all the flour with the butter cut into 6 tablespoons of butter cut into it. And so what you want to have is when you pick it up and you squeeze it together, it should clump together just like that, okay? So that way you know you got it in there right. And then we're going to take our buttermilk and we're going to pour our cup of whole fat buttermilk in here. It's a cup plus 2 tablespoons. This recipe is on the King Arthur website for buttermilk biscuits. I used to use lard, not Crisco, but lard, animal fat lard. And I came across this recipe and I was like, let me try it. Remember I told you always try things, because you never know if something is going to be good until you try it. And so my mom used to use her hands to do this, and you can. Your hands are impeccably clean when you're doing this, but I prefer to start it out with using a large spoon and then shift over to my hands to incorporate it in very well. And so we're going to now shift over to using our hands to get the rest of it mixed in. I have some extra flour here in case I need it. You shouldn't need nearly this much, but we're going to mix this in real good. As we work this together, you don't want to work it too much. You just want to kind of incorporate it in there. And then we're going to dump it over into my board. And we don't want to overwork it. When I was a little girl, I really can't remember exactly how old I was, but I was very young. And I was the only girl of 5 brothers at the time. And so they was outside playing and having a good time during the summertime. We were out of school. Of course, I wanted to be out there and do that as well. But no, I had to be in the house learning how to make biscuits. So I had the audacity to tell my mom that I didn't want to learn how to make no bread. And needless to say, she took her floured hand and landed it across my face. Well, you best believe I I shaped up then. I had no problem learning how to make that bread after she did that, and I'm grateful and thankful that my mom taught me how to cook. My mom is a great cook, and I'm just thankful for that. Alright, so we're shaping it into a ball, and this is how we want it to be, so it all just come together. And then what I do is I call it blooming. I just let it set or sit. I'm country, y'all. I let it sit for about a good 5 minutes to kind of bloom out a little bit. Then after we do that, normally you would use a rolling pin, but ain't nobody got time for that and washing the dishes. We don't want no extra dishes. So what I do is I just pat it to the thickness that I want, and then I use the biscuit cutter and cut it out. Quick and easy, simple, that's what we want. We don't have time to do extra. Excuse me, it's been a good 5 minutes, and I'm just going to take and flour my hands now. And we're going to do just a quick and easy press down. It's okay if it cracks. That is absolutely okay. As I said before, you would use a rolling pin, but I have found that this is just as great. So our oven is already preheated to 425. These biscuits are ready to go in. And I'm going to put a little flour here and kind of coat my cutter. And we're just going to press. And there's our biscuit. Again, press. And again, we're just very quickly pressing down the palm of our hand and cutting the biscuit in there. All right, here are our biscuits. I don't do anything fancy to them, like some people put water, milk, or butter on top of them. No, I just put them in a 425-degree oven until they're nice and brown on top. I do start it out on the bottom rack, and I keep an eye on it midway through, and I move it up to the second rack. Okay, our biscuits are done. That took in my oven a good 20 minutes. At the 10-minute mark, I took and moved it to the second rack, and let them continue till they were nice and brown to my desire. Okay, so you know how your oven works. We're brushing up butter on top of it. My mom and my grandma, both of my grandmas always did this. So of course I do it too. And then my mom and grandma would always do this. Put it into a container. See if I can get it there so you can see. That had a dish towel in it. And then cover it up very well. And they would let it sit for a good few minutes until they finished off the rest of breakfast or dinner, whatever they was working on. Some bacon and sausage is done, and I want my bacon to be completely done. I don't want any fat showing and jiggly. I want it to be nice and crisp and done, and I want my sausage completely done as well. So we're going to do the eggs. Right, so here is my first batch of eggs, and they're just fried eggs. I bust the middle, the yolk in it, and I cooked them all the way through, and now I'm going to start to doing some assembly. Okay, we're going to get our biscuit, and using a serrated knife, we're just going to cut that open like that. See how nice and fluffy that is. And we're going to put sausage on the bottom and put the egg on top. Or you can do it the other way around. And I'm going to continue to make these, and then we're going to move on to our waffles. Okay, so we're moving on to our waffles now. that we're going to make for the week. And I'm doing it in the Ninja waffle maker. And I'm just doing the recipe that's in the book. You can use just the regular waffle mix that's in the grocery store. That's what the book says. But of course, you know, I like homemade from scratch. So if you are so inclined to buy this waffle maker, my waffle maker that I had, it broke. So I had to get another one. So then I've got my dry ingredients. We're just going to mix in. This is the flour, the bacon, soda, the salt, the baking powder, I'm sorry, salt, and sugar. And again, I'm just using the recipe that's in the book. And just let me just say while I'm mixing this together is use what you got and make life as simple as you can for yourself. You don't have to make the biscuits. You can buy the canned biscuits or the frozen biscuits and do them. Or better yet, you can do toast. Just pop bread in the oven in the toaster in the morning and put together your breakfast sandwich that way. Whatever makes your life the easiest is what you should do. I'm going to scrape down the sides of the bowl. It says to mix until smooth. So once you get to that smooth consistency, then it will be ready. Okay, and that looks good. Okay, so the waffle maker has turned green, as you can see. There's 5 settings. I've chose to do it on 3. I don't like a really crunchy waffle, so I'm add a little salt, and you're just going to push this button in. They do recommend spraying it. I'm just spraying mine with a little bit of olive oil. Okay, and I'm going to just close it right back up. It's very hot. And this is the cup that comes with it. I'm going to use my ladle to put it into the cup. There is a minimum line, and I'm going to just go by that minimum line. And so with it closed, you're just going to pour it right over in there. Very slowly, we're going to pour it in there. And this should fill it all the way up to the top. It's going to turn red, and it just did. And it's going to beep. I don't know that I have enough in there. It doesn't look. I can see the blades. Alright. We'll give it a shot and see. Alright, we'll come back and look at this. It's going to turn green when it's done, and then it's going to beep. Okay, that's my first batch, and it's on a 3, and I love the softness of it. And it did make a little bit of a tail, and that could have been 2 because I put extra batter in. I'm not going to put the extra batter in this time. And then once you use silicone tongs to remove it, but that's a good size bagel. 2 would be more than enough. I'm going to make another one, and then I will continue until I've used all the batter, and then we will, I need to close that up. And I got it right at the line. I'm just going to pour this in. Pull the batter. They smell really good. It turns red. We're going to let that cook. It didn't take very long. Okay, this is one where I just poured in just the exact amount. And yeah, that's just some of the drippings from the inside of it, but yeah, it doesn't make all that tail. So note to self, use exactly the amount in the cup. Follow the direction of the um, recipe box recipe that came with it, and I use exactly, and that's oil dripping down. That's a little drip plate right there, and that's just the oil that's dripping down in there. And we're gonna keep making these until we're finished, and we're about ready to wrap up our breakfast for the week. We're almost done. Okay, so breakfast for the week is completely done. Yay! So I don't have to worry about going by McDonald's, Hardee's, or wherever to get something. We have sausage and egg biscuits, bacon and egg biscuits. If you want to throw some cheese on it before you heat it up, or a slice of tomato after you've heated it up, that would be awesome. The waffles turned out really good. So the recipe that's in the book that they sent, it makes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waffles. I did eat half of one now, and the recipe is spot on. I will tell you this, that I did add extra sugar, so I think it called for 2 tablespoons. I added an extra tablespoon because as I was making it, I thought, I think I want mine to be a little more sweeter. You may not, but I did. But it's wonderful. I mean, they are nice and thick and soft. I did mine on the 3, but it was great. I just want to thank you again for watching. The Ninja Waffle Maker, in my opinion, is very good. And it says to let it cool completely before you wipe it down. I've got a little brush that I'm going to use to wipe it clean, but it's virtually clean anyway. I mean, it did good. It didn't stick. I loved it. So just remember that pre-making your breakfast for the week is going to save you a ton of money, for one thing, and a ton of time, because you don't have to run by those places to get that. And hey, when you go out to eat, just remember that they're not making this stuff fresh unless you go into a restaurant that does it. We did have the enjoyment of stopping by a restaurant in Charlottesville that cooked the stuff fresh. They cooked it gluten-free. If you had any type of allergies, they would ask you if you had that, and they would fix it according to how you want it. It was wonderful. But when you just go to any of these mainstream chain restaurants, that stuff is already pre-made. All they do is heat it up and add stuff to it. So why not just do it at home and save a ton of money? You can also freeze this. Sometimes if I do a bigger batch, I will freeze it. I did just take my biscuits and slip them into a Ziploc bag today because I'm lazy. I didn't feel like fooling with the pressing seal. And I'm going to take those waffles and I'm just going to stick them in one of my bread bags that I use when I make homemade bread. So thank you so much for watching. I love you and be blessed.